Hi everybody, my name is Ivan Anderson. I'm the person who invented Email Pro. Thanks for coming to my show. Did you guys get to know each other and everything in the lobby out there? You guys all BFFs now, right? Thanks for hanging with us. Like I said, my name is Ivan. I invented Email Pro. Is there anybody here who is not enrolled in Email Pro? Okay. So the way it works is I send you emails, and then it's your problem. And then it's a program where you just receive the emails. You could respond to them if you want to. That's optional. You could delete them. You could not read them. Those are your choices, really. So that's what Email Pro is. Is there anyone here who is an Email Pro, but this is your first Email Pro show? Okay. That's great. So the way the show works is, as the inventor of Email Pro, there's a personal statement that I give at the beginning of every show. I'm going to give one of those. Then we're going to write some emails together. And then I'd like to do a seminar. We're going to do a seminar tonight with Jeff. And there'll be also a question and answer session. That's tonight's program. So thanks again for coming to this weird email thing that no one understands. I really appreciate that. Okay, now we're going to do the first segment now. This is a personal statement. Okay, we're starting the personal statement now. I used to be in a band. I'm actually still in bands, but I used to be in this one particular band, the one I started in college, that I expected to be in for the rest of my life. I remember one time this band got a gig playing for an outdoor arts festival in the Bronx. And a week before the show, the organizer asked me and the singer if we would do a television interview for the local news station, which was covering the festival. We said, of course. The interview was during the daytime at some cafe that was participating in the event. And when we got there, they told us to wait outside until they were ready for our segment. So me and the singer stood in the street killing time. We were in a good mood because we were going to be on TV. We hadn't been in the band for a long time yet. And then I looked over, and 4 blocks away there was a clown walking down the street. And when I say clown, I mean a guy wearing clown makeup, dressed like a homeless guy, with a red nose and cartoon shoes. He was completely a clown, and he was coming toward us. I looked at my singer, and he looked at me. The clown was getting closer. And my immediate reaction when I saw the clown was to think, please don't be part of the thing I'm part of. I'm not going to defend it, I'm just telling you that's what I thought. I didn't want to be in a thing with clowns. I didn't want my interview to come before or after an interview with a clown. But before I could do anything, the clown was standing right next to me. Hey, he said. He didn't say it in a clown voice or anything. He just said it like a normal guy. Hey, me and the singer said. Then the clown said, are you guys here to get interviewed for the Riverdale Arts Festival? Yeah, we said. Okay, great, me too, he said. And then he asked where I was from. I said New Jersey. And he said, I went to clown school in New Jersey. Okay, that rocks my world. The thought that a grown man went to clown school and that he would say things like, I went to clown school, that was a lot for me to process. I remember thinking, I don't want to be near this. That guy seemed pretty okay with his own life choices, but I was not okay with them. I consider me and my band to be the opposite of clown school. Ever since I was a little kid, I thought music was the meaning of life. Once when I was a boy, I asked my mom what the word charisma meant, and she said, that's the quality Michael Jackson has, that thing where you just want to look at him even if he's tying his shoes. I was at this point in my life kind of chubby, and I had a ponytail and braces. And the idea that charisma was a thing was fascinating to me, and also maybe elusive. I wanted to be charismatic, but I sensed that it might require some adjustments. And I thought music was the secret thing that made it possible. And then on top of that, I was obsessed with listening to music all the time on headphones. I liked having the music go directly into my brain. It felt like I was getting passwords from the universe itself. That's how I spent major portions of my childhood. So by the time I was grown up and in my own band, getting interviewed for the Riverdale Arts Festival, I had 100% decided that fucking cool rock music, Van Halen, Thin Lizzy, whoever, I decided all that was equal to the Sistine Chapel. That's what I was going for. As far as I was concerned, a song like Jump was basically the Mona Lisa. So I did not understand where the clown was coming from at all. Like in a world where it's possible to be Jimi Hendrix, why would you go to clown school? I was aware that it was weird for me as a 24-year-old to be judging this adult guy, but that did not make me reconsider my position. It just made it more sad. I remember standing in the street with my singer, looking at the clown and thinking, yeah, it's just sad that I'm way younger than you and I'm judging you like this. Good luck being a clown, I thought. What's the best case scenario with that? I wondered if he thought he was going to change the world. Like if he had some kind of profound clown message. All the world's a stage or something terrible like that. So as you can see, I had a pretty bad attitude. But, you know, I thought music was serious business. I thought I was a real artist, and I was eager to be recognized as that. I was excited about being on local TV for this exact reason. But it turns out that it takes more than one Riverdale Arts Festival to make you a star. My interview went well, but no one called me later to say, hey man, I saw you on TV. And the gig itself was cool, but low-key. Mostly, it was children running around doing finger painting while my band played on an outdoor stage. A bunch of the children got balloon animals from clown school, and they were knocked out by that. I wondered if I'd been harsh. The guy made some kids happy, you gotta give him that, right? Yeah, okay, maybe, fine. But overall, I went through the next several years of my life insisting that music was the real shit, and that by being a musician, I was superior to all clowns. And then, after a 7-year run, the band I thought would never break up, broke up. We went our separate ways, and just like that, it was over. In late 2014, I took a full-time job as a copy editor, and all of a sudden, that's who I was. I struggled with the daily reality of being a guy in the office instead of a musician. This was the beginning of an era I call the copy editing years. And sometimes during this period, out of desperation, I would bring my guitar to my new office and jam with two of my coworkers, Jason, the manager, and Charles, the director of digital something something. Neither of these dudes were very good, but at the time, it felt like I was making the best of the situation. We would play in the back conference room after hours. And then, in November, Deborah in Human Resources suggested that Jason, Charles, and I play at the office Christmas party. And my first response, which I would question later, was to say, fuck yeah! I told Jason and Charles about it, and they agreed to do it. Word spread. People started talking about our performance around the office. Everyone was looking forward to it. At first I thought that was exactly what I wanted. The reason I had said, fuck yeah, had to do with a lot of deeply ingrained features of my personality. Some of this is stuff you know already, like my desire to defeat clowns, and my need to show off that I'm a musician. But the real issue here was my insecurity about which one is the real me. By the time I took the copy editing job, this which one is the real me shit was stuff I hadn't had to think about since high school. Back then, I was a guy in all the honors classes, a guy the principal liked. For example, I had to give a speech at graduation because of my class rank. But privately, my religion was the lyrics of David Lee Roth. I was taking guitar lessons and trying to have sex. In my mind, I was running with the devil. So the fact that I did my homework and was a good student, that was meant to be the Clark Kent version of me. The real guy was supposed to be a guitar-playing Superman. But which one did girls think was real? That was the unanswerable question of high school, which I became obsessed with. So in 11th grade, I convinced the principal to let me play the national anthem at a pep rally. This was in front of the whole school, and I worked really hard on my arrangement. My version of the Star Spangled Banner was clearly the work of a 17-year-old who gave a fuck. I practiced it a ton, and I also tried to imbue it with the force of my own horniness. And my performance went really well, but the pep rally was at the end of a half day, before a long weekend, and when the bell rang, everyone ran out of the gym and went to a party in someone's backyard. And then it was just me, packing up my gear, alone in the gym with the teachers. And the teachers liked my song. "You have a nice tone," Mr. Eichelberg said. And I thought, no, this is all wrong. This wasn't supposed to bring me and Mr. Eichelberg closer together. It's supposed to change everything. But instead, it was like everybody already knew who the real me was. The good news here is that after high school, the real me prevailed. I formed that band in college. I wore cowboy boots on stage. Chicks seemed to get it. By the time I met my wife, I was wearing a bandana a lot, but she basically took me seriously as a person. I was carrying it off. But then my band broke up, and somehow I became a copy editor at a weekly trade magazine. And the other people in my office didn't know about what once was the band and the local news and whatever else. They only knew me as the copy editor. And who is the copy editor? Well, a big part of my job was telling people that they said the wrong thing. The difference between masterful and masterly, tortuous and torturous, semicolons. I'm the guy who cares about it, and that's how people in my office knew me, as a person who has a relationship with the dictionary. And look, I have a lot to say about the dictionary, and that's true, but that's like a version of me. So when Deborah from Human Resources said I should bring my guitar to the Christmas party, you could see why I pounced on it. But then I found out that the party was happening at the company owner's fancy apartment, and as a result, the nature of our performance had been dictated. Our set was to include walking in a winter wonderland. And baby, it's cold outside. And at our first rehearsal, I thought we sounded pretty bad. Jason, the manager, was bad. And Charles on saxophone was sort of better, but he still sounded like a director of digital something something. Neither Jason nor Charles seemed worried, and that was a red flag. They thought everything was fine. And toward the end of the first rehearsal, Charles actually said, maybe we should close with a blues jam. And at that moment, the full weight of it just came over me. It was too much. Me, guitar lessons, high school, the clown, the difference between masterly and masterful. Somehow my whole life had become a prelude to a blues jam in front of my office. That's when I officially changed my mind about fuck yeah. I didn't want to play at the Christmas party anymore. I'm sorry I said fuck yeah. I never should have said that. A blues jam with Jason and Charles. That was going to be like the little kid at Thanksgiving who wants to show you the magic trick you just learned. All your relatives applaud and say, good job, honey. And they're not even lying. Kid made a quarter disappear. What's not to like? Let the baby have his bottle. I realized that I couldn't look out at the office after the blues jam and see that on people's faces. There would be no coming back from that. I wasn't sure how to escape the Christmas party, though. I didn't know how to tell Jason and Charles that they sang terrible. I had to say to Deborah that my vision of myself could not withstand this. I didn't know what to do. My mom said I should try to make the performance go well. She said if I got creative, I could find a way to make it good. So I rehearsed with Jason and Charles the second time, and it was more of the same, showing Jason how to play the chords while concealing the fact that I was having a nervous breakdown. Jason and Charles thought we sounded okay. And meanwhile, people would come up to me and say they were looking forward to my performance at the Christmas party, and I realized there was no way out. At this point, if I bailed on the performance, it would be perverse and confusing to people. Everybody would misinterpret it. They would think I was just afraid of a Christmas party, which I guess is sort of accurate. Like, I guess I can't really explain how all of this counts as something besides being afraid of a Christmas party. Except, okay, really what I was afraid of was becoming the kid with the magic trick. People would say, hey, you're pretty good for a copy editor. I was afraid that the only way to survive the Christmas party was to accept the fact that it's me and the dictionary from now on. I was afraid of being okay with that. And then, the week of the performance, Charles sent an email to me and Jason, and the subject line was a frowny face. He wrote, "Unfortunately, I've been given to understand that Michael's billing forbids live music of any kind, so we've been cut from the Christmas party. Sorry guys, I'm just as sad as you are, especially after how good we were starting to sound." Now, I'm not a religious person, but Charles's email felt like a Christmas miracle. I wasn't going to have to make a permanent adjustment to my aspirations in order to survive the blues jam. The real me could still be anything. People in the office were bummed though. Everyone said, "Hey man, that sucks about the Christmas party," and I had to play along. Everyone assumed that the performance would have been great, so that was a nice bonus. I felt like I had been given a second shot at life. And that's when I realized, okay, right, this is like one of those near-death experiences that you're supposed to use responsibly. And so after the Christmas party, I decided I was going to quit my job. I didn't have the whole plan, but that's what I knew. I was going to quit my job and form a new band. I was going to get real about the real me. I did not quit right away, however. I wanted to save some money first. And also, to be honest with you, I was scared out of my mind. I didn't know as many musicians as I thought I did. I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to put a new group together. So every day I would come into work and think, I'm going to quit this fucking place. But then when I imagined doing that, I would shit my pants a little. It was a complex time. Sometimes, in order to get through the workday, I would send a brief, nonsensical email to one of my friends. For instance, "Dear Chris, what if the government controls the weather probably?" That was the entire email, and Chris never responded to it. I can't really explain what the email means or where the desire came from. It was just something I needed to do. And as the days went by, this became my creative outlet. I would send Chris shitty little emails that I thought were funny. For instance, here are 3 from the same day. "Dear Chris, what the fuck is your deal, bro? Also, I'm proud of you. Dear Chris, how do I know if the helicopter just crashed into my face? Dear Chris, imagine if I got a tattoo on my forehead that said, Instagram video by Dylan. That would be so inspirational. Wow, very sad." Every once in a while when I talked to Chris in real life, I would say, "Hey man, are you cool with the emails?" And he would usually say yes. Sometimes he would say that I should send the emails to other people. Maybe it doesn't have to be me all the time, he said. Eventually, he started encouraging me to turn into a real project, to make the whole thing public somehow. I would always say, "Yeah, of course I'm not going to do that." I liked not giving a fuck about the emails. They were just something I dashed off whenever I hated my life. I didn't want to take them seriously. Also, they were fucking weird. I was afraid to show them to real people. I didn't want anyone to think I was a clown. Keep in mind, I had recently dodged a bullet with the office Christmas party. I was clinging to the real me with all my might, trying to avoid any more close calls before I quit my job. Soon I was going to be a musician again, maybe, probably. I was trying to get serious. But, like I said, I was also terrified of starting over from scratch. And I was worried that I was too old to be successful. I'd spent my whole life thinking that music was life or death. And now that I was pushing 30 and I couldn't get arrested, I started to panic. That's when I finally thought, maybe I was too hard on that clown. I'm not saying I was ready to enroll in clown school, but something had moved. I started to think it might be cool to work on something that was not the meaning of life, something that was only the size of an email. So I said, okay, let's try this. I asked Chris and some other friends that I had been terrorizing to give me the email addresses of new people, and they did. It was people I'd never met. One day at work, I tried sending one of them an email. I had no idea what to write, so I just tried to do an impression of the sort of emails I hate getting from strangers. Here's the email I was writing to a person named Sarah. Dear CD-ROM, I got your email address from Jeff Manian because I'm starting a new business in my living room. The business is I wash dogs. I was already doing that a lot with my time. I said, why don't I monetize this? Now I just have to invoice the dogs. I spray them down right here in my apartment. It creates a horrible mess, but I'm like, I don't give a shit. When things don't work out, I just say fuck it and go numb. That was the beginning of Email Pro. CD-ROM did not write back to my first email, but after a couple weeks of getting my bullshit, she signed up 2 of her friends. I decided, okay, this is my life now. In the meantime, I did end up also quitting my job and starting a new band, but now I had an unexpected secret weapon, which is that whenever I got uptight about the meaning of life, I could send some emails and chill the fuck out. Instead of oppressing myself all the time, like for instance with rules about don't be a clown, I could bang out an email and stop giving a fuck, which was like tasting freedom for a second. Meanwhile, the list of people who were getting my emails was growing. I set up a Craigslist ad and I got some really deep randos to subscribe from that. One of my Craigslist subscribers was a woman named Carol who responded to every single one of my emails with either a smiley face emoticon or the words, haha. For 8 months, she was the only person in Email Pro who kept a 100% reply percentage. And then, out of the blue, she unsubscribed. I was completely shocked, so I sent her the following message. And to date, it was the only time I've ever broken character while using the Email Pro Gmail account. Hi, Carol. I've taken you off the list, so after this you won't get any more emails from me. But I would be curious to know what made you decide to unsubscribe and whether you have any feedback or general comments. Thanks for being a part of Email Pro. This was her full response. I don't understand any of it. Thanks. Prior to this, she had written back to me 78 times. Always with the smiley face or some variation. I'll never understand why she stuck with it for as long as she did. If the whole thing was a mystery to her. But part of me wonders whether she's like an email savant. Like maybe her whole relationship with email is 4D instead of 3D. And maybe her 8-month ride with Email Pro was something I'm just not meant to understand. Maybe I don't even know what I've created. With Email Pro, I think about that pretty often. But there are definitely other people who don't understand either. I now have subscribers in the hundreds, a significant majority of whom are people I've never met in my whole life. And 17% of them unsubscribe. I try to make it easy for people to leave. There's an unsubscribe link at the bottom of every email I send. And I also added a thing where people can say why they're unsubscribing, so I don't have to write to them and ask them like I did with Carol. Most people ignored this part of the unsubscribe form, but sometimes they fill it out and say things like, hate it. One person said, too many weird emails. And I thought that was funny because that reason for leaving is just a description of what Email Pro is. But for the most part, people seem okay with it. 70% of my subscribers are from referrals. The business, which is not a business and makes no money, is growing. And for me, I've come to depend on writing the emails. They balance out all my impossible demands on my music career and my test for myself about which one is the real me. Also, I think Email Pro has made me slightly, only slightly, less judgmental as a person. For example, if I met that clown today, I would not have total contempt for him. I would still be freaked out by the sentence, I went to clown school. That sentence is always going to freak me out probably, but instead of recoiling in disgust, I think I would just accept it as fascinating and weird. And then, later, I would write an email about it. That's the personal statement. So we're in it now. This is now the show. We're deep in the show. And for the next segment, what I want to do is we're going to write an email together. I have a lot of referrals that there's like a waiting list to get in it. And I want to enroll, I guess we just got an unsubscriber. I mean, it happens, like 17%. I guess there's like 17 people here. What's one? No. What's one? We're gonna do this. I How many people are here if 17% is one person? It's like almost 1 in 5, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so there's 5 people here. Nailed it. Okay, what was I just saying? All right. So the next segment is we got the projector. That was the holdup when you guys were like in the lobby for like 49 days. There was the projector, so we're gonna use it now. I'm gonna sign up a person. We're gonna write an email to somebody who doesn't know what Email Pro is, and we're gonna write the email. So I'm gonna relocate to my email office, but also I'm gonna get the bottle of water. Hi everybody. So what you're looking at now, this is my Craigslist ad. I wanted you to see this so that you know what Carol signed up for, and then I want you to know, like Carol saw this, wrote me 78 emails, and then unsubscribed. Email adventures. That's a dog hugging a Barbie in a convertible. Confusion and fear. What do people want from me? Hi, I invented a new art form using emails. You can receive emails from me directly into your inbox. The emails contain coded. Oh, come on. Oh, dude, what's this? What's going on here? Okay. Oh man, this has been a rough night. All right. The emails contain coded information, aka holograms. Reply to the emails or delete them as you see fit. There's so much to talk about. This is completely real. Reply to this Craigslist ad to begin. Spoiler alert. When are we going to talk about WTF? Right, so people just click on that and then they're in Email Pro and I got to write them emails all the time. So what I want to do now, oh dude, we got a Craigslist. We got a Craigslist from Mavis F. Hey Craigslist, what's up? Okay. Alright, this will be the email. Alright, we're gonna reply. I wonder if I'm gonna do some mic stand stuff. Why don't you play for a second?
Sure.
So at this point, like, I don't know anything you guys don't know now. Like, you know who I am. You know what Email Pro is. You saw the Craigslist ad. Mavis wants to talk. So, we're just gonna do this. Dear Mavis, F. Thanks for getting in touch with me. My name is Ivan. I am the person who invented Email Pro. The way it works is you get the emails, and then it's confusing and difficult for both of us. I like to tell people up front that they can unsubscribe. Because like this whole thing is so close to just harassment that I try to give people an out early on. Like there's a safe word at the bottom of every email. You just click on it and then it's over. So I'll do that now. But on the other hand, like there's a part of me that like kind of doesn't want them to unsubscribe. So I also sometimes would get like sort of weird and aggressive. Okay. All right. I guess. All right. So I mean, at this point, you gotta get sort of imaginative. I write a lot of these emails every day. I'm a little bit over it. I was like kind of over it a long time ago, but here we are. So I guess your deal is, I don't know. What it?
You like Craigslist?
I guess your deal is you like emails and Craigslist. Was anyone here ever close to unsubscribing? Did anyone ever like have that experience? Okay. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but Email Pro is highly inappropriate and not good for making friends. I'll try to be your friend, but people often unsubscribe when I try. That's true. Oh, so the other thing I like to do is I like to just have like true facts in the middle of the email. Like obviously so far this whole thing is just a mind fuck, but I like to have the emails then also just contain like factually correct information. So this would be a good time for that. There is a 17% chance I will never hear from you again. Oh, and then here's the other thing about Craigslist. You guys know about Craigslist, right? Like, I don't have Mavis's email. You see this whole fucking thing? It's like totally Email Pro. That's some Craigslist relay. And at a certain point, that becomes a pain in the butt, because for Email Pro to really work, I need a real email address. Like, they unlock stuff. I get to send them attachments. There's surveys. Like, I don't want to have to deal with Craigslist relay all the time. So at some point, every time I get a Craigslist applicant, I have to then convince them to give me their real email address so that we can get off of Craigslist relay. And that's a major, I lose a lot of people on that. And I have to ask them over and over and over again, and most of them don't do it. Carol did it. That's the other thing, right? Like, she was just funning all the time. I was like, listen, Carol, I'm glad this is a hit. You gotta give me your real email address. She got like 20 emails at this point. She was like, sure, here it is. And then it all came crashing down like 40 emails later. So listen, I'm sorry to be bringing this up now, but would you consider giving me your real email address? It works better that way. I get why you're not going to do it. My email address is emailpro.emailpro@gmail.com. Use this to contact me anytime. I like to think about it as a electronic mail address. All right, I'm like maybe good with this. Let's review. Dear Mavis F. If we just ever find out what the F stands for, like, that'll be a success. Like, if I can find out that F is whatever it is, like, that'll be enough for me. Dear Mavis F, thanks for getting in touch with me. My name is Ivan. I'm the person who invented Email Pro. The way it works is you get the emails, and then it's confusing and difficult for both of us. You can unsubscribe at any time. I'm powerless to stop you. Life choices. I guess your deal is you like emails and Craigslist. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but Email Pro is highly inappropriate, not good for making friends. I'll try to be your friend, but people often unsubscribe when I try. There's a 17% chance I'll never hear from you again. So listen, I'm sorry to be bringing this up now, but would you consider giving me your real email address? It works better that way. I get why you're not going to do it. My email address is emailpro.emailpro@gmail.com. Use this to contact me anytime. I like to think about it as an electronic mail address. Okay, there we go. Sending it. So I have some more emails that I want to send to people, but up next I want to do the seminar real quick. Sometimes at these shows, I like to try to do a segment where like I actually give you useful information about email or using a computer, because Email Pro is just so aggressive and what the fuck that I think it's funny if like now and then there's just like something helpful. So the last one we did this whole masterclass on keyboard shortcuts, but I didn't want to do that again. So this time, Jeff, I went to your office recently and you had like this weird mouse. And you also had a weird keyboard. And when I asked you about it, you said that's because those are ergonomic.
Right. This is going to be feedback in a second.
All right. How do you want to deal with that? Do you want to like send me an email?
Yeah, it's probably better.
Okay.
It's okay, we can go.
Yeah, this is gonna be fine. This is gonna be totally fine. So ergonomic, why don't you try to define that in your own words?
Oh god, I don't know what it means.
Alright.
Does it mean like good for your body?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna guess. Oh, look at this. Look at alien from TV's doctor.
Put him in the next email for sure.
Yeah, alright, this is going in the email. Dude, I don't know how I feel about like now when just whatever the fuck is on Wikipedia now is also in the dictionary immediately.
Well, it is Wikipedia.
I know it's Wikipedia, but like I didn't go to Wikipedia, I opened the dictionary and now I have to learn about ergon, alien from TV's Doctor Who. Like maybe I don't give a shit about Doctor Who. But this is just here now. So remember when I said like I have a relationship with the dictionary? That's also like my relationship is extremely uptight and conservative. So I don't like things like whatever it just was. Ergonomic, here we are now. Especially a workplace design intended to provide optimum comfort and to avoid stress or injury. That's what I had in mind, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, this feedback is like right there. It's like totally DTF at any time.
That's not yours.
Okay, so I could just go nuts. I could just go full bore. We're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Hey man, do you want to like shut a bip up there and like fix it a little? Are you comfortable doing that? I have a videographer at this show. Do you want to like do a plug? John Marty Videography. His business card says non-fiction videos, so that was good. That's how we got the job. He's gonna make a non-fiction video about Email Pro, which I'm glad about. Maybe that'll go in the dictionary. So ergonomic means like you're not gonna hurt yourself using the mouse. So my question for you is, did you switch to your bizarre ergonomic things because you were already feeling shit go wrong, or were you just trying to get in front of it?
The former.
You were already having serious
really
health
bad.
issues.
Really bad.
Are you comfortable discussing that?
Sure.
And this was just from sitting in front of a computer all day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like what everyone, like you don't use a computer more than other people, right?
I might.
But doesn't everyone use a computer every second? I mean, look, I'm doing this like fucking weird show and I'm using a computer, right? And this is like being artistic. And I'm like, here I am, I'm an artist, typing on my computer. So, everyone uses computers.
Yeah.
So you were just like everybody else. And what kind of problems were you having?
My wrists hurt.
Uh-huh. And you knew for sure that was a computer thing?
I was pretty sure.
How did you like do the differential diagnosis?
It hurt when I typed.
Okay. So you were like, something's got to change. I need to make a change in my life.
Yeah.
So then you did research probably?
Yeah, a little bit, but also there were other people in my office who had. Hello.
You're
Yeah,
good.
that's
You're
much
good.
better. Who had ergonomic keyboards and mice.
So, because when I was in your office, I didn't see those other people with those
It's a
things.
different office.
Oh.
This was a couple years ago.
Okay, I got it. So you go to your new office and you're the only dude with ergonomic things. Don't you have like a moral duty to say to everybody, like, you're doing this wrong, you're gonna get fucked up? You gotta switch?
No, I don't think so. Because I don't think it's going to be a problem for everyone.
But you're all like, don't you all put in the same hours?
Everybody is different.
Oh. Alright, I guess you got me there. So your fragile body,
Yes.
your extremely fragile body was like, something's wrong. And so then you did some research and you found this weird, it's like a...
Yeah, you can pull it up.
No, let's pull it up. Alright. What's the name of your thing?
Kinesis.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
K?
it's pretty bad.
What'd you say?
You need the mouse, right?
You want the mouse or the keyboard?
What do you want to do first? Because we're going to do both.
Do the kinesis.
Alright, so that's spelled K.
It's like kinetic, but with two S's instead of a T and a C.
That?
No, not two S's, one S.
Yeah, the two S's
We got like
replaced
the Kinesis sales
T and the C.
Not two S's. They always get them wrong. Wait, so you use Kinesis?
I do.
Is that because of Jeff? Do you know Jeff?
Do you want to come
I
and
do
talk
know
about
Jeff.
it?
Oh yeah, you want to come up and talk about it?
No.
Alright. She said no, in case that doesn't make it into the live feed. Can you sit there and talk about it, or is this already painful?
No, I can sit here and talk about it.
Alright, so how did you decide to get Kinesis
I have
mouse?
carpal tunnel.
You have carpal tunnel.
Yeah.
That's like the thing everyone gets when their hands get fucked up, right?
Yeah, because your hands are like this when you're on a keyboard, a regular
She's
keyboard.
doing this.
You're supposed to have them like this. They're supposed to be in a
What? How is that different?
What do you mean?
Do you-
Because you see how your wrist is bending right
Is this the good way or the
No,
bad way?
That's really bad.
What I'm doing now is
now?
bad.
You're bad.
Can I just interrupt for a second?
Yes.
You ever stop and think about whether to click on the add link
Let's
or
do
the
it.
non-add?
No, I never even think about it, and I never
Well, that's
do
not
it.
even the right place, but sometimes you get both, and one's an ad and one's not. And it's like, who do you want to give money?
So if I click on the ad, it's gonna download my social security number and stuff like that.
No, you're taking money from someone and giving it to someone else.
Alright, I'll do that. So this doesn't look like the thing I saw though.
No, that's no.
No, you're on Amazon.
So the ad
Go
is just
back,
like
that's
not
wrong.
even the right ad. It's just like,
That's the wrong
oh,
one.
here's some other fucking thing you gotta buy. Fuck you.
Scroll down.
Ooh, what is this? Look at that, it's like a little chode. And look at this little weird erogenous part. Look at that. Look, that's like the little clip of the mouse. Is this the one you have?
No.
This is the one for perverts. You know what though? I take that back. There's nothing perverted about it. This is 2017. People gotta click their little porno things. I'm not gonna judge. That's what I learned from the clown. I'm not gonna judge. Okay, so this is, you don't have the clit show
No,
one.
you should go back.
What do you mean go back? Oh, no, dude, man, what's this? This is foot pedals?
Yeah.
So if there's somebody who is clicking around the computer like this, he wakes up in the morning and is here's me clicking on my desktop. Why is this $115? Wait, how does this work? Jake, can you figure this out from being a designer? It's 3 shows. Do you think one of them is
I have looked at that before. I've seen it.
Oh, so you totally know
I've
that.
never used one.
So you think one of them is
Savant. It says Savant. Kinesis Savant.
no, that's for
the email Savant.
That's for Carol.
Yeah.
That's for Carol. Maybe it doesn't work, and she just kept responding by accident. And this one is the smiley face emoticon. It's hard coded into this pedal is to be smiley face emoticon, and she just hit it by accident 70 times. Then she was like, okay. So my theory is that this is hard coded to be smiley face emoticon. This is shuts your computer off, and this charges your credit card with a random Amazon purchase. So you get shit. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. Okay. Oh, you had this though.
No, that's not the one.
All right. Your thing is looks just like.
Yeah, I
these.
used to work with a guy who got that one.
Oh, how come you didn't get the one he had?
I thought the one I got would be better.
So you got to talk about why that's better though. No one knows anything about this.
Okay, well, one reason is that the one I got is especially for Macs, so there's a command key instead of a Windows key, and they're in the right place, and it has the volume.
That's good. That's all very good.
It's like a Windows keyboard, so that's one reason.
Savant Elite.
And the one I have splits apart all the way, which I thought would be good.
Okay, does anyone agree with me that this is completely
I don't know
from
that.
1996? Everything about this is your dad came home and he was like, hey son, instead of reading the World Book as a book, I got the World Book black case USB thing. Right? This is, I don't understand who's making this. This is from a long time ago when Encarta was a hot ticket on your computer. I should put this in an email. I should be if you want to use Email Pro really, you gotta buy this. SmartCat USB black. Why is it called that? What part of this is a USB black case?
You should look at the reviews.
Let's look at the reviews. That's a good call. I bet they're using like, this isn't a fucking USB case. I don't even know what that is. This is not that. Alright, let's see. Look at all this bullshit. I'm not gonna read that. Oh, there's questions and answers. Can you please tell me if this will work? Okay, how are you gonna use this for Windows 8? Windows 8 is gonna like crash that. Okay, well, let's see what the answer was. Yes, this is compatible with Windows 8 and 10. What about 9, bro?
It's not 9.
Is this compatible with Windows 7? Yes. These answers are not good. You should just be like, you should just have listed all the things it works with. Okay, here we go. 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. Like, listen, I'm not even gonna read it yet. Like, 3 out of 5. It just means whatever the stupid thing was, like. It wasn't as good as it could have been. Like, somebody has this idea that, like, the smart cat USB black case, like, this doesn't live up to the 5-star version that it could have been. This is the 3rd or 4th replacement. Lost track of them I've tried for this purchase. Okay, I'm going to stop again. I'm sure this is a shitty product, but who's with me that something about this sentence makes me not like this person? Right? Like, I get that it sucks, and it's probably unfair that you have to try 3rd or 4 replacements. But something about that sentence is just like, fuck you, man. This is the 3rd or 4th replacement that I have to try for this person. There's something about that that's just like, it's just annoying. Had to keep returning them for different reasons right after it arrived. This one isn't right either, but likely can use it for most mouse work. Can use both buttons and move well at the same time as was needed for an old game. Like, for the first part of the sentence, I was like, oh dude, this is going to be some like disability thing, and it's like not good to make fun of this person because they probably have some like thing where they like can't use normal stuff. That's what I thought. And then it was like, I can't use it for an old game. I don't really care about that. I have carpal tunnel, and the pendulum swings the other way. Like, I guess he is disabled. So this is the only mouse I can use. I have to use it by holding it in both hands and using my thumbs to click buttons and scroll. Works great that way. I love that this guy's enthusiasm for using it with his thumbs. Like, this is a great way to use it. I've used these mice for 20 plus years. These mice used to be well made. I would have them for many years of heavy gaming before I would die on me. The last 2 I bought before this one cheap and died after only 1 year. Last one never worked right if you got the touch surface even slightly moist. Come on, man. There's like ways to fix that. We all figured that out in like 5th grade, man. Just get the tissues. Just get the tissues right here and just say.
It's Virginia.
Yeah, it's Virginia.
Oh, what? Oh, Virginia Butler? Well, look, man, that could mean anything. You don't know what that means. Virginia could be using tissues or, have a penis, whatever. Last one never worked right. If you got the touch surface even slightly, would have to dry and then do a hard routine. So inconvenient. Circ wouldn't contact me back to replace it because you're annoying. So just put up with it. Circ should be ashamed of itself for putting out this kind of crap. Didn't deal with Amazon directly on the replacements. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I read this kind of shit and I'm just instantly hostile to this person and there are name problems and I just sort of like don't respect them. But then I think like here I am doing a show about email. So like I keep forgetting that I like don't need to instantly judge everyone. And then I do. So where were we? You were talking about your mouse, which I judged. So your mouse was like, the whole point is that your hand is like this, not like that.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So the mouse is like this kind of like, I don't know.
It's kind of like the one you saw.
It's like the one that had the clip. It's kind of like that. And you just hold it like this, and then you do this, and it's like from the wrist or from the arm.
Oh, I don't know. Whatever you want.
Really?
Sure.
I mean, I'm surprised that we made it this far, and then like that doesn't make a difference at all. Like it seems like everything makes a difference.
It probably does. But the mouse doesn't require you to do it one way or the other.
So how do you do it?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't pay attention.
All right. One thing I've always liked about our friendship is that, like, you know these things, and you like know about this stuff, and then you tell me what I should do. Like you told me to do the credit freeze. Did you guys do the credit freeze? Remember when everything got fucked up and now everyone's identity got stolen? What was it?
When was it?
No, what was it?
Equifax.
So you know, right? So there's this stupid thing you can do that like makes it harder for the thieves to use your
Yeah,
phone.
that's right.
Right. So I wasn't going to do that, but Jeff typed it like you should do it, so I did it. And then the other thing that's for me as part of this in our friendship is that remember the airports when they had the new thing where you like get in the tube and you go like this, and then it like does the Hulk rays, the gamma rays. You were like, when that came out, you were like, no one knows that this is okay or not. And so you started opting out. And I've been opting out ever since then.
Sure.
But I only did it because you were talking about it.
Right.
But do you still do it?
I've gone through them recently a couple times.
And that's because you have the wrist problem, so you're like, it's over anyway.
Right.
Okay. Didn't you also Didn't you also get the TSA pre-check?
Yeah, that's cool.
So how come if you had that, you still have to go through the thing like an asshole?
Recently I went to the airport and TSA was closed because it was too late.
Oh, that must have pissed you off a little, right? Because you paid, that's the service you paid for.
I did, yeah.
So did you write like a shitty little 3 out of 5 star review for TSA?
Yeah, on Amazon for that house.
You wrote a shitty review for that house? That's good. I'm glad you took action. So when you opted, and you did not opt out.
I didn't because my flight was boarding in like 5 minutes.
So you're just like, fuck it, we'll do it live.
Right. I said that to them. That's kind of scanning me.
Dude, so I opt out, and in New York, they will get sort of annoyed. They'll be like, why? And no matter what I say, they're like, ugh. So I say, like, the radiation freaks me out. And then they say, do you have a cell phone? And I'm like, yeah, I do have a cell phone. And then they're like, isn't it the same? And I was like, no, if you're asking me, no, it's not the same. And then I looked it up one time. And then the next time I opted out, and I had the exact same conversation, and then when they're like, don't you use your cell phone? I said, yes. But a cell phone is non-ionizing radiation. And then the guy just looked at me and was like, oh, okay. And now I gotta like feel your legs up.
The ones they use now are also non-ionizing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, like Jeff knows this shit. Like I felt like I was at the top of the class because I knew the words non-ionizing radiation. But like, you know that, and then another thing about that. So kudos to you. So now they're non-ionizing?
Yeah.
Okay, well I didn't know that. So I was talking to the guy, he was
Which
like...
is why I've gone through them.
So you think it's okay?
Probably, yeah.
So I had one TSA guy who gave me a hard time, and then while he was like doing the pat down, he was like, it really doesn't matter. It's all the same. And then he goes, I just got surgery for prostate cancer anyway. And I was like, dude, that's like my whole point, right? Because like you spend all day walking through that thing, and you just had prostate. And he was young too. He was like a young dude to have that. So I just looked at him and was like, oh, I'm sorry, bro. I kind of feel like I won that one. I didn't have to say anything. Okay.
What else do you know?
So you think those things are safe now?
Probably.
But isn't there's like maybe a privacy issue?
Sure, yeah. Yes, you're right about that.
I guess
I think they stopped looking at actual images of you, and now it's like some sort of cartoon image on the screen.
But wasn't there like a server somewhere that has like the full
That's
nudes?
a great question. I don't know.
Alright, so I feel like as the email pro, like there should be an official recommendation. Right?
Sure.
Alright, I'm gonna say, I'll give one and then you give one, okay? I'll go first. My official recommendation is opt out. And if in New York, and like the Midwest or whatever, people are nice, like, yes sir, yes of course sir. But that's like Ohio. In New York, they're gonna be like, what the fuck did you just say? And you say, I don't believe in non-ionizing radiation. I disavow. I disavow. I disavow. That's my official recommendation. What's yours?
I'll go with that. I second that.
Nice. I was sure Jeff was gonna have a real one. It was gonna be smart. Okay, let's write another email. Someone signed up this guy named Brendawg Barntrill. Now, I suspect that's not really this person's name. But I don't know what his real name is because I don't know anything about him. So I thought this would be a good one for us to do together. Dear Brendawg Barntrill, you have been enrolled in Email Pro. This is a free service I invented because I was having an identity crisis due to a clown in Riverdale talking to me normally. Like true facts. Like I'm just telling the truth. The way it works is I self-medicate through email. You can try it. It is safe and non-habit forming. Remember probably to avoid ionizing radiations. Also, right, okay, so now I want to use what we know about him, and what we know is his name is Brendawg Barntrill. I do have some questions about why your name is Brendawg Barntrill. How do we feel about it? I mean, I'm hostile, but that's me. But let's do by applause. Who thinks Brendawg Barntrill is that's okay? Let's do it this way. If you were on Tinder and the guy's username, his Tinder thing was Brendawg Barntrill, by a show of applause, who would swipe left?
That's reject.
I like how at first it was no. And then people thought about it and they were like, actually, I'm DTF. Okay, yes. All right. That was reject? See, I'm not on Tinder. So that amount of applause was Brendawg was reject?
Yeah.
To me, this is an instant reject. I don't understand what you guys are thinking about. I was I guess I'm a little horny, but I'm not that horny. See, because I know exactly how horny I am at any time. It's just always available to me. So that was swipe left, swipe right for Brendawg Barntrill. And that's DTF, right?
Yeah.
Right, is DTF? Okay. Alright, so we'll put that in email. I wrote this email in front of a live studio audience. True. And the overwhelming majority of them were not DTF with a person named Brendawg Barntrill. Sorry, bro. But the good news is you could change your display name at least. Use email to become a new person. I have been doing this myself since April 2016, and it is almost working now. Be safe, Brendawg. I'm worried about you. Okay, since this terrible person is also a real guy, I don't want to type in his email address, also because we're filming this, so I don't want to reveal who it is. So I'm just going to email that later.
You didn't tell him he could unsubscribe.
Oh, good call, Courtney. Good call. Thank you. Someone just pointed out that I didn't tell him he could unsubscribe. That's a PS. PS, you can unsubscribe at any time. Fuck you. Okay. That was that email. I also like to try to do a question and answer segment. Does anyone have a question? It's okay if you don't. Also, I can't see, so you have to say, yes, I have a question. Okay. All right, no questions. How are we doing for time? Okay, we're good. Are you good? Because I spent a lot of time on this. This could be a long show.
a question.
Great, yes, Cece, what's your question?
Have you ever considered expanding your business to start writing emails for other people and getting paid for it?
That's a good question. I'm just going to repeat the question for the microphone and for the recording. The question was, have I ever considered writing emails for other people and getting paid for it? That was the summary of the question, right?
Yeah.
No. I don't know
There's
how
a market.
There's a market. This is for people who don't want to write like annoying emails. Yeah, I mean the truth is those are the kind of emails I also hate to write. I invented this because I didn't want to have to like write, a cover letter or like whatever. What kind of emails are you thinking about? Like
Just like work emails.
oh yeah, I could do that. I could also I could recommend those terrible ergonomic mouses to people and stuff. So what do you think a person could charge for that? What would you be willing to pay? Let's say I'll write one. Like what's an email you don't want to write?
Well, I'm asking for a friend, and
Okay, all right. What's an email your friend doesn't want to write?
they have to write an email that is for a performance review for their boss.
Wait, this person is writing a performance review for their own boss?
Well, yeah, kind of.
That's some next level shit.
I thought you might be into it.
I mean, it's very provocative. So your friend's boss was like, hey, remember how I'm your boss? You have to do this thing where you judge my performance. Write whatever you want. Do I understand that that's the scenario?
That's what I understand of it.
Well, if this person doesn't really want to have their job, this would be a great way to go out. If this person is like,
So how are you?
I'm just saying, sure. I mean, you could write a lot of emails and have it be like, this is going to be my last day kind of emails. And I feel like if you were ready to go, that would be nice. The other thing would be if you don't want to lose your job, you just have to write some terrible kiss-ass email or performance review, I guess. Do you know, for your friend, are the performance reviews really structured, or do you have to fill out a questionnaire?
No, it's pretty casual. Bullets.
Bullets? You mean bullet points?
Yeah.
So what's going to be the first bullet point? This is your performance review?
No, I have a question.
Yeah, a question.
What other alternative to bullet points was there just now?
Well, I mean, Gmail gives you the numbers, right? There's this. This is instead of bullet points. Yeah, I don't know. What's the alternative? I guess would just be some terrible free-form paragraph. Or the Amazon product review. That could be funny. You should just copy and paste a bunch of Amazon product reviews and then do some machine learning thing that then synthesizes that and then have that be your boss's performance review. So be complaining about my boss only works when I use my thumbs to type on it. Also, I was disappointed that the hard-coded smiley face pedal didn't work. I need that pedal. All right, that's my answer. Thanks for the question, Cece. And thanks also, Chris. That was your question, right?
Yeah, for a friend.
Okay, any other questions?
I have a question.
Yeah, question.
So I know at one point you were considering possibly trying to monetize Email Pro and have people pay
Yes.
to receive emails. Is that still a business goal?
That's good. The question was, there was a time when I was talking about monetizing email. Am I still going to charge people for the emails? That's kind of work at this point. My whole thing with Email Pro is that I don't want it to be too important. And monetizing it is going to make it important. So I have sort of emotional resistance to it for that reason. I also do ask people if they'd be willing to pay. And more than half of them say they would be willing to pay any non-zero amount. So for some people, non-zero is going to be 50 cents. Or I don't know, maybe that would be the jackpot. I don't know. I just assume I'm already kind of dealing with 17% unsubscribe, which is a little high. And I'm afraid I would just lose everybody. And then you know what else I'm afraid of? Is that And, my friends have been really supportive with this. Like this whole thing started because I was like cyberbullying my friends, and they were like sort of forgave me for that. And I feel like if I started charging, all my friends would have to be like, oh, now we gotta pay for this shit because like Ivan is having an identity crisis. You know what I mean? My friends would be like, listen, dude, we're glad you quit the job and you have the new band, like we're rooting for you, but I don't have to pay for those fucking emails every day. You know what I mean? It's like an even more asshole way of having like a shitty Kickstarter. Where you're like, hey everybody, I have a Kickstarter because I invented this piece of shit mouse that no one likes. Will you buy one? Will you buy 99 of them? I'll put your name on it. Yeah, so I feel like for me to like charge for you, bro, recharge for you would be like just a way more terrible version of that. So I guess the answer is not yet. If I had like tens of thousands of subscribers, I might do it because then I could lose a lot and maybe still get my 50 cents. So, eyes on the prize. That's my answer for you, Gitter. Any other questions?
Yeah, I know this has nothing to do with email, bro, but I still want to know what non-ionizing radiation is.
Oh boy. The question was, what is non-ionizing radiation? Yeah, I think, can I guess and then you can take it? My guess is that, what the bad one is ionizing, right? So non-ionizing is like just heat.
Is it depends what you mean by
so like ionizing radiation is like radiation that goes into you and like changes atoms and like gives you cancer and like does shit and like moves, has like chemical effects on other things.
Vaguely correct.
Okay, and then the other one is just like heat dissipating as radiation. Non-ionizing radiation is just heat.
Sort of.
All right, I'll take it. That was my guess. Thanks for indulging me. Let's get the real answer.
You're right that ionizing radiation is what can give you cancer. I think ionizing just means it takes like electrons off of atoms or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the stuff that's above visible light on the spectrum is ionizing, like X-rays.
Oh, so just above a certain wavelength, they're all just ionizing below a certain wavelength?
Above a certain frequency.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
They're all just ionizing at that threshold?
Right, and that stuff gives you cancer, etc. The other stuff, what you were trying to say, is that the only effect is it like heats up your tissues, which is what a microwave does.
Oh, but it's not itself heat.
No.
Right, heat is something else.
Right.
Heat is like waste energy dissipating.
Sure.
I'll take it. Did that answer your question, young lady?
I mean, sort of. I kind of wanted to know something more intricate, but it's fine.
Oh, for Christ's sakes, more intricate. More intricate than like the whole fucking Socratic method. More intricate. My God, Email Pro audience is like high level, high powered Email Pro audience. Well, God bless you guys, but I'm at the top of my game here. All right, you got to go home and like apply to graduate school. Good luck to you. Any other questions? Now that you know like what level of intricacy I'm prepared to deal with, like see if you can calibrate your questions to that. And there are none. Put it in the email. Okay, so the second email is another one that I think.
Oh, leave that in.
Yeah,
All right, what did I just get rid of?
that's it.
All right, so this second email is to a person named Jakius. Now, once again, I wonder if Jakius is a fake name that this person just used, but I've been wrong before. So I don't know. I'm going to say it's real. Jakius, this is instead of bullet points. As you can see, I'm using numbers, not bullet points. I wonder what happens if you go in. Oh, it's just numbers. It gets you like Roman numerals. Very cool. To Jakius, this is instead of bullet points. As you can see, I'm using numbers, not bullet points. That should be Roman numerals. Very disappointed. Amazon review is 3 out of 5. All right, you have been enrolled in Email Pro. This is a free service. I invented it. So far, you're doing great. You can unsubscribe at any time. Okay, let's talk about Jakius. Okay, I don't know, I'm just gonna sort of improvise here. I remember when your parents decided to name you Jakius. I said, don't do it. He's gonna have a rough life. Amazon review equals 1 out of 5. Like the foot pedal was broken. Alright, I mean, I feel like that's some strong material.
Something about radiation. Tell him.
Something about radiation? This guy's just gonna get it all. Okay, let's give some context. I'm friends with a professional comedian named Chris. Chris D. He said I should talk about non-ionizing radiation in this email. Because they let anyone be a comedian. So man, you be a comedian, I'm an email pro, alright? That's how this works now. Alright, I'm gonna send that later tonight. Let's reread it. Which one was that? Jakius. Dear, just Jakius. Jakius. I want it to be his real name. I want like the woman who loves him to be like Jakius. Did you hang the drapes, Jakius? I want that to be this guy's life. Right? Jakius, did you remember to take out the trash? Because the thing with that is like, it's like a little bit annoying when your chick is like, did you remember to do that thing? But then it's worse when that sentence begins with Jakius. You know what I'm saying? I bet that guy's like, oh, mom and dad, why? Alright, let's revisit it. Jakius. This is instead of bullet points. As you can see, I'm using numbers, not bullet points. That should be Roman numerals. Very disappointed. Amazon review is 3 out of 5. Moving on. You've been enrolled in Email Pro. This is a free service. I invented it. So far, you're doing great. You can unsubscribe at any time. I think, should that be this?
Yes.
Let's find out. Anytime. Variant of anytime. Look at that. Adverb. Closed up. We're doing it. Okay, let's talk Jakius. I remember when your parents decided to name you Jakius. I said, don't do it. Kid's gonna have a rough life. Amazon review equals 1 out of 5. Apostrophe. Good call, Courtney. Some people would say 2 out of 5. But the foot pedal was broken. This kid's just not gonna know. Hey, I'm friends with a professional comedian named Chris D. He said I should talk about non-ionizing radiation in this email. I guess they let anyone be a comedian these days. That's how this works now, Ivan. Alright, look, I think that was good. I'm happy with that email. Jeff, is there anything else you want to talk about?
No.
You guys have any other questions? Alright, well, I want to thank John Marty of Nonfiction Films for being my videographer. I want to thank Jeff Manian for doing the keyboards. And for being smart and saying your smart things. Also, remember the whole part about me wanting to be in a new band? I also did start that band. Jeff's in it, and we're playing tomorrow night at Arlene's Grocery. So now you know. And I want to thank the Tank and Rosalind. Yeah. Goodbye.